Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for a review / player ratings stream. It would have been, obviously, this would have been yesterday normally, but I weren't feeling too well, so we sort of moved it forward or moved it back till today. Hope you understand that, but yeah, normally it's going to be from now on, player review, ratings and reviews will be the next day after every game. As you can see, I'm joined by Richard from Over and Over Again. How you doing, Richard?
Very well, thanks, mate. Yeah, great to be on your channel again. Good to have some positive results to talk about as well for a change. It seems a long time since we've had
too long
positivity, which is good, which I like. But it's good at the moment. Let's enjoy it while we can.
Well, now your channel now can go back to being the positive channel now.
I can
exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I can change it back now after a couple of months of misery. We're finally back, but let's hope
the less than positive podcast.
Yeah, exactly. We need another positive podcast now this week, so we get one now because everything's positive. Just for now. I mean, you know, so we need to make the most of it while we can because we know what it's like. It probably won't last. So let's enjoy it. This last couple of weeks, let's enjoy it, and hopefully we'll get another couple of games before we go back to misery again.
Exactly. And also you can see I'm joined by Russ. How you doing, Russ? How's your Christmas and New Year?
Christmas, New Year was all right. I told you I had a bit of an accident with my laptop, but that was fixed. Thank God. I didn't really want to spend a lot of money and get another one. I just want to say Happy New Year to you and Richard and the guys in the comments and section and everything else. So 2021's started off pretty rubbish, really, isn't it? It's going to feels a bit like 2020, doesn't it? Still.
Yeah,
it just feels worse. For me, actually, it feels worse than 2020. We've only had 4 days. It's like what's going on. How could it get any worse? And it has. Well done, everybody, for making it worse. Brilliant.
Bernie's just joined us in the chat. Says finally a podcast with some common sense. Well, kinda. Hope you will.
It can go downhill very quickly, though.
Yeah, exactly. Big up John as well. Happy New Year yourself. Yeah, because obviously you guys haven't had you guys. Happy New Year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one. This is one of the few shows a week where you're Melvin topless free. You don't haven't seen Melvin. Oh, Melvin, yeah, but obviously for anyone that's been watching the watch-alongs, whenever we score a goal, we see different sides of Melvin. Melvin has not been spotted since Katie Price got her hand on him.
God, yeah. She was DMing him on Twitter.
He might be making an appearance tonight, so let's,
oh dear, but yeah. Well, as I was saying off air before we went live, it's been a bit from the outside world perspective. Put to one side, from an Arsenal's point of view. Not bad Christmas and New Year, to be honest. 3 games, 3 wins, 9 points, goals from open play. Freely, youngsters are fucking tearing it up.
We're back in the title hunt, mate. We're back in the title hunt.
Well, only 10 points up top, yeah. So yeah, why not? Mathematically, why not?
Why not?
Top 4's very much achievable the way that we're going.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, literally this month, before we get to the game itself, this month, league-wise, before we go into the Cups, league, we've got Crystal Palace, Newcastle at home, Southampton, I think at home, or away, one of the two. Away, is it? Yeah, away. Sorry, away, and then Man United at the end of the month. All winnable games. Man United the last two will be probably more difficult because of who they are at the moment, where they are at the moment. But it's very open. Suddenly we're right in that mix. There's someone put up over the weekend the top 11 or something like that. You got the top, like joint top, Man United, Liverpool and United. Joint second, third, all the way down to 6th or 7th, something like that, and then from 8th downwards to 11th, everyone's pretty much on the same points.
The only thing I would say slightly I think now in terms of the points, we've definitely got a chance at top 4 because we're only 6 points off. 6 points is nothing really in the league this season. The only thing I would say against us is we've lost 8 games, so realistically, we can probably only afford to lose another 2, maybe 3. The rest of the season. There's a lot of games left, and I think that's a big ask. I can't see us losing 12, 13, 14 games and still finishing in the top 4. I just can't see that being possible.
Say that, Richard, but like Chelsea and are not doing that well at the moment. They've
dropped off a cliff.
Yeah, they're not. The bottom's fallen out, but everyone else, every other team is losing matches. That is why we're in the position we're in.
Yeah, they are. They are losing matches, and everybody is dropping points. But then you've got obviously, I would say Liverpool and Man City are probably definitely going to be in the top 4. I think Man United at this moment look as though they are. Then you've got Leicester. Are Leicester going to drop that many points? Are they going to lose that many games? We don't know. They might.
They're consistent as well. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're very good away from home. At home, they seem to be struggling a bit like us, really. But I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, because points-wise, it is definitely 6 points is nothing. You can make up 6 points in 4 games. Potentially with the way that league's going this season. But having said that, I just feel as though, having lost 8 games already, it's a big ask. We're going to probably have to not lose that many more, which is possible to do. We keep going the way we're playing, we might not lose many more. But it's a big ask, because every defeat we have now is going to be really costly. Because you can the more games that we lose, the less likely all this is. Even with other teams losing as well, we're still behind. We've got breaking up.
Exactly. We're the ones playing catch up.
If we finish in the top 6 this season now, I think we'll have to be reasonably happy with that. And let's hope we can have a decent cup run, maybe Europa League run, win the FA Cup again, or at least go a long way in that as well.
We'd one of the 2 FA Cup or
Europa. We can end up having a decent season. But I think the top 4 is going to be, even though the points isn't much at the moment, it's a big ask, that I think. But we'll see. It's not even halfway through the season yet, so what's going to happen?
Because of the position, as you said, because of the position we're in and the amount of games we've lost already, we are in that position where we are playing catch up, but also we have to literally take it game by game.
Yeah.
We can't be
keep winning games as many as we can, and let's hope for the best.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. Just keep winning as many as we can, and let's hope that it's going to be enough at the end of the season. It might be. The way the season's gone, nothing would surprise me, to be honest. Nothing at all. But all we like to do take our games one game at a time, and hopefully we'll keep picking up points as we go along, be a bit more consistent, and then you never know when it gets to April time. If we're in with a shout, we've got a decent run of games towards the end of the season. Who knows?
Yep.
Well, yeah. As like Nathan says, he's a Man United fan, by the way. He says in the chat, when you look at the league, you think City won't lose 8. You think. And Liverpool won't, but the likes of United, Spurs, Leicester, etc., they will. So the top 8 itself, as a whole, is wide open.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, no, I can see that. I mean, I think Man City have already lost a few, haven't they? 3 or 4, maybe. Man United have lost 3. Liverpool have lost 2, haven't they? I think 1 or 2.
Yeah,
just going to
Man City have found their stride again, though, haven't they? They had a blip, but at the beginning of the start of the season, didn't they? And then suddenly, them and United have just, because they were near us, weren't they? They were right down the bottom with us, and then suddenly they just both shot up the table.
Yeah, and the reason why they've been able to do that, I think, is because although they were struggling near us in the league, they were drawing a lot of games and not losing. They've only lost, I think, Man United have only lost 3. The last time they lost, we beat them. And Man City, I think, have only lost 2 or 3. So they haven't lost many games. They've got that in hand. They can still lose a couple, and it's not going to be. They can still make it up.
Effective, yeah.
And I'm going to annoy Nathan here. I'm going to say, because Man United get a lot of penalties as well.
Well, yeah, they do, exactly.
Especially when they kick each other, and they're kicking their own play.
Kick your own foot. Yeah. That's a 9. Give him a 9 for that quick.
Yes, I've got the tape up on my phone now. I'm looking at it. DOS-wise, from second downwards, because obviously Liverpool they lost that one against Villa. Second downwards, Man United lost 3, as you said. Leicester have lost 5. Spurs are a 4th, lost 3. City are a 5th, who lost 2. Everton have lost 5. Villa lost 5. Chelsea have now lost 5. Southampton 4. West Ham 5, and we've lost 8. And we are, as you said, we are literally 23. We are 6 points off full spot.
Yeah,
it's absolutely crazy because of the draws.
We've lost a lot more games, haven't we? We have lost a lot more games than everybody above us.
Yeah.
So
we haven't drawn many though, have we? We either win or we lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we haven't drawn many. But I just feel though, because we've lost 8 already, we can't afford to lose that many more. That's all. I'd rather we might have to draw a few, win a few, and then it might be all right. But you've got to look at all them teams there, like that comment before. Liverpool and Man United and Man City probably aren't going to lose many more than 8 all season, are they? Let's be honest, they probably won't. Any of them. So that's 3 teams, and sometimes draws can come back to haunt you, can't they? They draw loads of games and we don't. That might be the difference in the end, but. I just think if we lose more than 12 games, I don't think we can finish in the top 4. Just because I don't think you can with 12 defeats, even in a season like this. I just think there's going to be a lot more teams that won't lose that many games. And unfortunately, I say we've lost 8 already, so we have got a big job to do if we're going to get top 4. But to be honest, I say top 6 would be I think, it'd be an improvement on last season's finish.
Yeah.
It would probably get us in the Europa League as a minimum. And hopefully, I say, if we have a good cup run here and there, Europa League might be the way. If we can finish in the top 6 and win the Europa League, then that's going to be a good season, isn't it?
Well, that's a vast improvement from last season.
Yeah, of course it is, yeah.
All the trauma we had last year as well.
Yeah, so we've still got a possibility for that. And hopefully, if we're still in this good form when the Europa League starts up again, we'll have a good chance of getting through that. And then we can see how we go. And it's all about momentum football. And I think this season in particular, not many teams have strung together a consistent run of results, have they? Everybody's winning a couple, then losing one, winning a couple, losing one, drawing a couple. And no one's really put together a string of wins. Even Liverpool have drawn a lot of games. They're not winning every single week like they were. So if we can, we just won 3 in a row. If we can win our next 2 or 3 league games, that would probably be the best run of the season from anybody. 6 wins in a row in the league. No one's done that.
Yeah.
And that would give us a chance. But we need to keep doing that regularly now for the next, how many games we've got left? 20 games we've got left in the league. We've got to keep
something. We only got like 16, aren't we? 15, 16 games.
Yeah, but we need to keep doing it. That's it. So let's hope we can. I'm not writing it off, but let's try and be.
But it's also keeping it up.
I think the top 4 is.
It's also it's not just keeping it up. It's also countering for once, because that's another thing we've been sort of critical of the team throughout the last couple of years, is when other teams slip up, we slip up as well at the same time. We don't counteract it and go, okay, we'll take advantage of that. If we can do that, that's another positive. That's another turn in the right direction going forward. But I think in the circumstances we found ourselves in before Christmas, if we finish top 5th or 6th, whatever, that in itself, and as you say, put a cup run together, either FA Cup or Europa, that's a vast improvement on what we had for a long time. Let's be honest.
I think all we need to try and hope for is, and I think all we can expect really is that for the next season or 2 seasons, that we're showing steady improvements, because we're not quite ready yet to make that next leap up to challenging for the league or anything like that. So if we're making steady improvements, like this season we improve on last season, next season we improve on this season, then that's what we can hope for. And then by then, hopefully with a few more transfer windows coming along, a few more players coming in, hopefully then we can be in a stronger position maybe in a couple of years' time to really go on and come back to where we want to be, which is, obviously challenging at the top of the league if we can, but we'll see what happens. I mean, this season is going to be a weird season. It has already, and it's going to continue to be a strange season. I just think we just have to try and do the best we can.
Oh dear. Melvin's not even on the stream. He's getting stuck. He loves to love. But just go back. Obviously, we'll go back into the game now. We've sort of touched on going forward and things like that. But go back to the game on the weekend, West Brom away. Bar one player, it was literally like the conditions didn't look good for us. It's heavy snow. At one point, half hour before kickoff, it looked like we got called off. Sam Adams was trying to get called off, and you're thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, wait till Davies don't you dare call it off, and then they stopped, and then they cleared it off, and then it started up again. But it was just like the typical sort of atmosphere, like, in the sense of the circumstances we were put into that never benefit an Arsenal team in the years gone by. So to come out of it, not just the 4-0 win, but for win in general and a clean sheet, and no suspensions, no silly red cards, etc., and no injuries. I can only take positives out of it. But the one person, as I said, turns up in the snow, blitz snow, in a t-shirt and shorts, leads by example and gets us the opening goal. And what a goal that! I'm sorry, for a left back, what a goal it was. But I also go back to what was the defender doing, letting him go on to his that foot.
To be fair, he went past him once, and then he went past him. It was almost like he was taking a piss a little bit, wasn't he? So to do that and then score as well was just unbelievable, really. I mean, that's one of the great goals of the season, that for me. I mean, I don't know if you saw Match of the Day last night. Their goal of the month, there was about 2 or 3 goals, very similar to Kieran Tierney's actually, batting in and scoring, but his was much better because he beat that same defender twice and then did it in the snow as well. So in a t-shirt and no gloves.
He should be used to it though, shouldn't he? Growing up in Highlands or wherever it is around there, they get a lot of snow around there. So he's a hard lad.
That's got to be goal of the month for January, I would have thought, or certainly one of the isn't it? Surely, a great goal, and it just kind of sums up what Kieran Tierney is all about, doesn't it? He's 100. He's a 100% player every single game, and his performance level doesn't really drop. Yes, he makes your mistake here and there, of course he does, but he's a consistent player, isn't he? He's become probably our most consistent performer. Him and probably Saka this season, for all the problems that we've had. those two have really stepped up, you know, when there's been problems. And it's easy to play well when the team's playing well, and it's easy to shine in a good team that's winning games. But when you're losing games and you're struggling, it's very difficult to step your performance up. And Kieran Tierney's done that. He did it, you know, when we were losing games. Saka did it as well. And that's how you know. That's when you see that a quality player that can do that, you know, because it's easy to play for a good team that's winning games and standing out and playing well. It's when you've got to dig in, and that's when it's hard. But Kieran Tierney and I say Saka as well, probably those two particularly have done it, haven't they, all the way through?
I think Gabriel as well. He's played. He's played
Gabriel as well. So I mean, he's out the side at the moment, but he's he was playing well when the team wasn't. He was still performing as well. So you know, we did have a few positives, even when the result wasn't very positive. But you know, now it's all come together in the last few games, which is great to see.
But also, back on the watch on, we had this sort of running joke about obviously sort of a reference to the Crocodile Dundee situation. Like, this ain't that ain't a knife. This is a knife. Tierney was like, this ain't snow. Back home is snow.
He's had 6 foot of snow walking to school, isn't he? So he was all right.
Yeah, no, he's a different breed, isn't he, Kieran Tierney? And you know, I think he enjoyed that game because it was his conditions, wasn't it? I think him and Rob Holding, actually, that's the sort of game you could see, and it was. I thought before the game, Rob Holding, it would be his kind of conditions, you know, physical team, snowy pitch, you know, a bit slippy underfoot, a game where you could just, you know, right up his street as well, I thought he had a good game as well, actually.
Nathan's saying Tierney once swam to the North Pole just for endurance training.
Just in his shorts and his T-shirt as well.
Yeah, literally. Bloody hell. But again, I've been saying for years, since obviously they started breaking down the Invincible squad, the double winning 0-2, and then obviously the Invincible squad itself, we haven't had that sort of mentality of a player that will grab a game by the scruff of the neck and pull that team through no matter what they're playing. He'll drag that team through no matter what. I'm so happy because when we're linked with him, I was thinking, please get this up, because obviously I don't watch SBL massively, but I know of him. Yeah. Because obviously Celtic what they are and all that. So I was so happy when we got him over the line eventually. I mean, it took all fucking summer, but we got him over the line. But he's got all the attributes of a leader as well and a captain. And this is why from day one I've always said he needs to be given the armband. I know it might upset Aubameyang and this. I don't care. Because Kieran's got the best attributes for a captain. Full stop. He has that mentality.
I think at the beginning, it's like, you know, I think he needed to prove himself in the Premier League. He needed to prove himself at Arsenal. He had a lot of injuries at the beginning. We hardly saw him play much, certainly the first half of last season. But now I think he's definitely proved himself for the last sort of year or so with his performances. And yes, I would say now would be the time, or maybe at the end of this season, would be the time to certainly look at Kieran Tierney as possibly the next captain, definitely. But how do you take it off Aubameyang without causing massive problems behind the scenes and causing massive problems to that? Because obviously Aubameyang's a popular player at the club. There's no doubt about that. And whether or not we think he's a natural captain, which he probably isn't, I do think he's got the respect of all the players. And I think taking the captaincy off him would be a difficult situation for Arteta to do. And I do think that's going to be a problem. But definitely Kieran Tierney's proved himself that he definitely is in the running to be the next captain without a shadow of a doubt. He's proved it now. And there's nothing more he can do. You know, he is a natural leader on the pitch. His performances back it up as well. And I'm sure he will be captain at some stage. It's just how you take it off Aubameyang without all the problems that will bring with it.
I think Aubameyang's big enough to sort of realise that he's not actually the type of captain that a club like Arsenal needs. I think that because obviously he's going to get older, isn't he? So he's got, how long has he got left on his contract? 2.5 years, is it?
2.5 years, I think it was,
yeah. So he's going to be 30. He's not going to be playing every single game. So I think that they might do it gradually. So if he doesn't start the game, Tierney will be given the armband and then, you know, sort of phase him out that way. But I think Aubameyang thinks in his own head that he's not really the captain that we need, and I don't think there may be an issue like with players and stuff. But I think Aubameyang will probably be okay. Yeah, I'll give it to Tierney, or we'll sort of transition over a little period of time.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I say maybe make him vice captain first, and then he can step in every time Aubameyang doesn't play. I mean, you saw on Saturday for me, one of the only negatives was Aubameyang actually, just his whole body language and stuff like that. I know he's having a hard time. is low. But to me, the captain, regardless of how well or badly they're playing, they've got to be able to lift their team, and I don't think Aubameyang does that.
Yeah, he's not that type of character, is he?
No, it was other players that lifted the team when we needed to in that game. Kieran Tierney was one of the main ones to do that. Some of the younger players as well, and Aubameyang's got to take that responsibility because he's the captain, and regardless of whether he plays well or scores goals or not, he's got to be the player to do that as the captain of the team, and he's not. And I would have no problem taking it off him myself, but I can just see that it's an issue to do that. There's not many, such a recognised player, and he is probably still our most recognised player, isn't he, Aubameyang?
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah,
and he's a captain, and to take that off him, I just think would be a difficult thing for Arteta to do. And I'm not sure whether Arteta will do that, unfortunately, at this moment in time. I say maybe the end of the season, a new start, it's an opportunity maybe then, but we'll see. I'm not expecting that to happen, if I'm honest, until Aubameyang leaves the club, whether he retires or whatever, until he's not playing regularly. Until then, I think that he will, unfortunately, still keep the captaincy. But anyway,
David in the comments is saying, I think people don't realise how good he's been all season too. He's only getting wider recognition now outside of Arsenal itself. Now as we are winning, but he's been this good consistently all season. Yeah, and we've touched that already. But yeah, it's just. But I said that's so good to have a player of that mentality, of that, because he's a young lad, come from Glasgow, in Scotland, but he comes from Celtic, which no matter what you think the SPL and all that, the mentality has always been drilled into players coming from the academy or brought in. You run through brick walls. This is winning. It's winning or nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, Celtic are a big club, whatever we think of Scottish football,
yeah,
Celtic
exactly.
are the biggest clubs in the world, aren't they, in terms of their fan base and everything like that. And he came through their academy system. He's played in their team. He's won a lot of trophies for them. So he's still only 23. It's not like he's that experienced as a player, but he's played a lot of matches. He's got a winning mentality. And yeah, he seems to be the most natural leader on that pitch. And to be honest, I don't care if he's captain or not at the moment. What he's doing on the pitch is enough, isn't it? He's doing what he needs to do, and he is a leader on the pitch, and I'm sure that his time will come. He's got a long career ahead of him, and I'm sure his time will come as captain. So, just let him concentrate on what he's doing at the minute, because he's doing brilliant, and we need all the players to step up, and that's it. And he's doing what we can ask him to do, and don't necessarily put extra pressure on him necessarily. I mean, he might want to be captain. I don't know. He might not want the pressure, but let's not throw that pressure on him, and let's just let him enjoy the game that he's playing at the moment, and let's all enjoy watching him play, because he's an absolute joy to watch him at the moment, isn't it? And not just now, as David said before, all season he has been playing like this, but he doesn't get recognised when you're losing games, because you're not going to highlight your left back in a team that's losing games week after week, are you? You're going to highlight the strikers that aren't scoring, and you're not going to highlight the positive, because there wasn't that many, and that's just natural, isn't it? And now we are winning. He's getting the credit, and so are others as well, which is nice to see as well. Like Emile Smith-Rowe, who's been mentioned there, he's another one who's getting some credit and getting a run in a team, which is also good.
But also, David, he makes a good point as well. We do need to sign not just Kieran Tierney, but Smith-Rowe down to long-term contracts. Don't make mistakes. Don't get over-reliant and make the mistakes we're clearly, when also we are sort of making with Balogun, because we need to get him down to a contract as well. Otherwise, we could lose him, because he's open to talk to anyone at the moment. But yeah. Let's go through the chat. Bernie's got a fan in the chat. Natasha, big up Natasha. Going through. Katie's worst day is HBX. X's best day, I think. Hector Bellingham's and Jack's best day. Jesus. Oh, yeah, Jack. Yeah. Bloody hell. Kieran Tierney is the only man that took Sir Alex Ferguson's gum out of his mouth, started chewing it, handed it back, and said, I'm the man. Oh dear. And as says, Scotland has produced good left backs with Tierney and Robertson, obviously both from obviously Robertson went from all those other clubs, Hull, etc., before getting to Liverpool and becoming what he is now. So
they've got two good left backs. Scotland, to be fair, they have.
Only Scotland would have two good left backs, and the rest of the team would be absolutely crap.
And guess what? We've got to play him in the summer. Yay! As it stands, obviously.
Maybe Saka might be playing on the right-hand side for England, and Kieran Tierney left back for Scotland. That could be quite interesting.
Take him out. Bang. Oh, God.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that was to work. But I think Robertson's still the number one for Scotland, isn't he? So
Yeah.
It's probably only going to be the backup for him, which is
I think Steve
strange when you look at it. But
I think Tierney plays as centre back, doesn't he, for Scotland?
He plays centre back or left mid. Steve Clarke does like to play them both, no matter what. So either one plays left back and another plays left wing. But we've sort of touched them, and the kids. We've said straight from what we could start the show before we went on air as well. For first, we've been saying for weeks and months now they need to be given a chance. It sort of was forced upon him. It fell into his lap. It was not of his own doing, so to speak. No disrespect to Miguel, but it worked, and fuck it worked, because then he had to stick with it, and we're getting positive results are still coming thick and fast, and I'm loving it. Smith Rowe, that second goal. I'm sorry, the run he makes off the ball for that second goal is oh my! He's getting 19, 20 years old, and he's having that intelligence to do them sort of runs, and that pass to Saka. Oh my days! It was like watching Arsenal from like 16, 17 years ago. It's so nice.
For me, the biggest sort of change in terms of the way that we've played has been Saka playing on the right hand side, because he's so much more direct than either Willian or Pepe is. He'll go past the defender. He'll whip across him with his right foot. He's not like Pepe, who's always going to cut back inside. He's direct. He goes past people. He's given us more balance on that side of the pitch now. And, we've got good deliveries and good opportunities now coming in from both sides, as opposed to just on the left before. I mean, we very rarely had any danger down the right-hand side, did we, realistically? And now we've got danger from both wings. And that's made a massive difference to why we scored a few more goals and we look a lot more dangerous. And that's been the biggest change. I mean, obviously, Smith Rowe coming into number 10 role has been a big change as well. And that's been a positive, because he's got a little bit more class about him and quality, hasn't he, to open up defences and create chances as well. And I think those two things together is the main reason why suddenly we've gone from a team that can't score and create chances to a team that's suddenly scoring goals and winning games. And that's mainly been they're the main two changes that's happened. I know Martinelli came in as well before he got injured, but that's been the main two changes, isn't it? You can see the difference that it's made. And like you said, Ryan, we was crying out for this weeks ago when we were losing. Why not try it? Just try it and see. And now it's been forced on him a little bit. He's done it, and look at the results. And it's been brilliant.
And I'm just, as I said, I'm so happy. I'm so relieved. But I'm happy for the likes of Saka, Smith. But with the more obviously, he's not just come back from a long injury. Smith Rowe's been there in and about the Europa Leagues, but he's now got it again, because again it was forced upon. He's getting a chance, but he's doing everything in the role he's playing. He's doing everything that would have been asked of a Mesut Ozil that weren't being done. He's making them runs. He's getting back. If he loses a ball, he's literally like, okay, I'm not going to drop a head and, oh no, ref, what the hell? He's like, okay, bang, and he runs back and he's tracking back to help the team and get that ball back. He's not afraid to make a tackle. And again, it's that youthful, no fear of losing, sort of playing with no fears. It's benefiting us. It sort of it's kicked to certain senior players up the backside as well, and got them to go, you know what they're doing, they're putting us to shame. We need to up our game as well. And you know what?
Exactly. Yeah.
Long way to continue.
And I also feel as well that I think the fan base as well are going to be more tolerant to the young players. For example, one mistake that Willian makes, one mistake that Ozil makes, for example, that the fans are on their back, whereas Emil Smith-Rowe and Saka and Martinelli and all these others, they're allowed the opportunity to make several mistakes, and the fans aren't getting on their back. And I think that makes a difference as well. I think that gives players a bit more confidence, and that's probably why they can play with a little bit less fear. And you could say the experienced players should be able to deal with that, and they should, but it's difficult, isn't it? If you know every single mistake you make is going to be highlighted by the fans all the time, it's going to be on social media and everything else. And I think it's difficult, and I do think the young players get a little bit more leeway, and that's maybe helps them a little bit. And maybe that's a lesson for the fan base. Get off players' backs, allow them to make mistakes sometimes, and you might see them play better overall. And I think the young players are doing that. And let's hope that even when fans are back in the stadium, that the fans can be the same, even when they do have bad games and make mistakes, because they will. They're young lads. They're not going to play well every single game. They're going to make mistakes. Of course they are. And let's not hang them out to dry when they do. Let's give them the time and understand that that's football. Not everybody, not everyone's going to give a 9 out of 10 performance every single week, are they? And young players tend to do that anyway. And let's be honest, they're not playing in a great. It's just not a great Arsenal team, is it? Really, it's an okay team, and it's hard for them to come in and consistently produce these performances. They've done it over the last 3 games, and they might well do it for another few. But it's going to be a point in the season when they go off the boil. Of course they will. They'll get tired, a lot of games, and they won't produce these performances all the time. And we just need to understand as fans that happens, and we've got to support not just them, but all the players that go through that.
Yeah.
They'll go through dips and bombs, don't they?
Yeah, they're all good players. At the end of the day, every single one of them. Willian's a good player. Let's not think he's not. He's not been performing well, but he's a good player, and he will produce good moments and good performances. Same with Pepe and all the others. Xhaka, the people that get criticised a lot. Bellerin's shown as well, hasn't he? He's stepped up his game over the last few games as well when he played. So I think everybody with a little bit less pressure on them will play better. And maybe as fans, we just need to understand that, some players we don't like and we don't want them in the team, fair enough. But while they're playing, while they're on that pitch, wearing the Arsenal shirt, we all need to support them and understand that they make mistakes and not criticise them for it. And hopefully they'll continue they'll get through their bad run of form and they'll pick up again, like other players have done. Like Jack has done, like Bellerin's done, and others as well. So I just think we just need to support the players that are on the pitch. If you don't like them, when they're off the pitch, it doesn't matter too much. While they're playing, that 90 minutes or 95 minutes, whatever long they're on the pitch, if they're on the pitch 20 minutes, doesn't matter. Support them while they're on the pitch, wearing the shirt, and then hopefully they might respond to that and play better, maybe. And if they don't, then they don't, but they'll still support them. You know what I mean?
Well, exactly. Obviously, we'll get them to play banks. The question's been asked before we get to the play banks itself. Steve's asking who was Arsenal's best player on Saturday's match against West Brom, and apart from one player, I think you could make an argument for all of them by that one player we've touched on already. I mean, I'll let you go have a go with us because it's been pretty much us talking so far for the last 10 minutes.
Lacazette for me, I think, mate. I think he probably deserves it. He was everywhere, literally everywhere. It was full of running, which is really nice to see because sometimes he does get disinterested. He looks like he is anyway. But yeah, I think his goals were good. I think, I just think that he put in a real 100% performance for me, and I think that's why I would give him man of the match, really.
And he wasn't as well, considering the second half that pitch was Barda got both penalty boxes. Everywhere else was a fucking ice rink, basically, for some bizarre reason. when I got underground heating. But hey, what do I know? You tell me that's not the same Allardyce fucking tactic to try and injure our players.
He pulled the plug out, didn't he, beforehand?
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. Let's be honest. It's Big Sam. Is that going to go there with that one? But yeah, considering all that, he didn't. I've noticed since we've gone to this formation, playing like the likes of Saka, Gabby, and Martinelli in and around him, he's not dropping so far bloody deep into the midfield to get the ball. He comes a bit, but not too much. He's able to stay where he is the majority of the time, that striker role, without going too far deep into midfield. Because the likes of Smith Rowe, Saka, and Martinelli are there breaking the lines anyway between them, stretching the defence and making it, being that creative influence that he needs. That he doesn't have to do it all himself, so he can just relax being in his position, and it's benefiting. He scored 4 goals in 3 games now in the league. Yeah, so he can't really. I know one of them's a penalty, but he still has to put it away. Gary's also saying in the chat, Katie, Saka, Smith, Laka all get a shout. John saying Saka was man of the match for him. Richard, what yourself?
I mean, in my sort of post-match video I did, looking back on the game, I did actually say that under normal circumstances, I probably would have given Lacazette man of the match because I thought his performance all round was really good. He held the ball up well, he linked the play, he scored 2 goals. He was unlucky maybe not to score another 1 or 2 as well. And I thought his overall performance was really, really good, actually. In the end, I don't think you could really give it to anybody other than Kieran Tierney. One for his just warming up in a T-shirt, he deserved man of the match. But also as well, he scored the important first goal. He got an assist for the 4th goal as well, I think it was. Wasn't it? The one
his 4th goal,
and he was it was a brilliant performance from him. So, but I'd say, Lacazette for me. I mean, I say it normally, I would have given it to Lacazette because I just thought his all-round play. It was a perfect centre-forward performance, wasn't it? He scored 2 goals, which is what you want your striker to do. His hold-up play was good. His link-up play was good. His movement was good, and he was involved in everything good that we did from an attacking point of view. So, I thought Lacazette was brilliant, and I thought he was brilliant against when he came on against Brighton. I thought he was brilliant against Chelsea, and he's in a good run of form, isn't he? And it almost kind of highlights even more Aubameyang's poor form. because Aubameyang's been our go-to goal scorer, hasn't he, for the last 2 seasons. Lacazette struggled a little bit, and the roles have been reversed a little bit now. And Lacazette is absolutely on fire. He's playing fantastic.
Lacazette is very much a confidence player.
And he's a bit of a streak player, isn't he? He tends to score goals in streaks. He scored in the first 3 or 4 games this season. He's now scored in the last 3 or 4. He hasn't scored many in between that. And he's done the same in previous seasons, hasn't he? He'll have a run of games when he scores. Let's hope that he can be a little bit more consistent in his goal scoring now for the season.
I think
he can score every 2 or 3 games, get a goal or 2 here and there. Then that's what we need him to do, because Aubameyang's not doing it. And you needed Lacazette to step up, and he did. And I thought West Brom, that was his best all-round performance, actually, probably in the whole time he's been at Arsenal.
Yeah.
An all-round performance. I just thought he had everything in that performance from Lacazette. I felt a little bit bad not giving him man of the match on my video.
Change your mind, Richard. Just change your mind. It's fine.
He did deserve it.
It's okay.
But Kieran Tierney just shaded it just because I just felt the first goal was so important in that game, and the way he scored it and his celebration as well. It was worthy of that. But yeah, Lacazette definitely for me deserves a lot of credit for that performance.
It was just touched on because you mentioned obviously Lacazette started the season. He was in that form he's in now. And he sort of, but I think the reason you can sort of touch on the drop out of form from the Liverpool game onwards was the backlash he sort of got from the fan base and the media over them 2 misses in the Liverpool game. It had an effect on them. It sort of obviously when that happens, we've seen it last season. When he had that initial injury, he tried training through it, couldn't, so he took a month off. And when he did come back, it took a while for him to get back in. And then when he does get back into form, fucking COVID gets the whole thing shut down again. It's just like he couldn't win.
Could happen again this year as
well. I wasn't going to say nothing, by the way, but 8 o'clock, our fearless leader is making the announcement.
I think we know what the announcement's going to be. I mean, hopefully it won't affect football, but
hopefully, I can't do another fucking 5-6 months on that.
There just seems to be a lot of cases in football at the moment in the Premier League. There's been games postponed over Christmas. There's been 2 or 3 games postponed over Christmas. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they do at least maybe pause football till the end of January, maybe.
Well, this is the thing with me as well. Just going off Arsenal for a second. We've all seen the photos and all that, and the reports of certain players from Manchester City and this, that, and the other, and Lanzini from West Ham all coming out, meeting up in London, having New Year's Eve parties and this, that, and the other. Whilst everyone else in the average Joe public making us doing our bit to make sure we don't do what might cause any more damage. And Premier League today apparently come out and said they ain't going to get involved. They're not going to punish the clubs or the players. They're leaving it to the government. And I'm just like, why can't you both do it? You can literally put a fucking massive fine in place for the club and the players. The club itself could go, you know what? You've done this. You knew this for fucking months. You've seen it. So you know what? 2 weeks' wages, gone. But no, they won't do that because they'll be in uproar with the fucking players and all that. It's just ridiculous. Players nowadays are too mollycoddled, and it just does my head in.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean I don't know exactly what what exactly.
I know
from what I understand, Mendy from Man City, I think he just got together with some family, didn't he, for New Year? So he probably didn't really understand that was perhaps not the right thing to do. I don't know.
I was on more so on about the South American players.
I think some of the other ones looked as though they kind of went a little bit beyond that, and maybe did a lot of stuff that maybe they shouldn't have done. But I mean, it is a strange situation that we're in, and it is difficult for everybody. You know, we've all had we've all found it difficult to to get through it all. And I guess, even though that you might be a footballer and earns a lot of money, there's still stuff that they're human beings at the end of the day. They still want to interact with their family, with their friends, and like everybody else does. And maybe sometimes they thought, well, it's New Year, let's do it. And yeah, they shouldn't have done. And it's obvious they were going to get caught. And it is now what happens about that. And if the Premier League want to wash their hands of it, then it just sums up the Premier League, doesn't it? They're not.
Yeah.
They've got their own interests only at heart. They don't really care about anything.
Yeah, and that's how.
Fine to them means nothing, does it? So
exactly. And the point is about fining them either. I mean, I guess the players would have needed to have maybe been banned, perhaps. But I guess if they test positive, they're not going to be able to play anyway, are they? So I suppose if that's the case, also, but we'll soon find out, because let's face it. All these fit, healthy young people. are probably not really susceptible to all this anyway, let's be honest. So what they've done, is it really that serious in terms of the overall scheme of things? I don't.
Well, considering some of these players were from clubs that were affected with an outbreak in their respective clubs and all that as well, and at the same time, and so it's just like, well, hang on.
Well, yeah, and maybe that's why. But what we got to remember is as well, and it is still the fact that the people that are most vulnerable to this are obviously the older and vulnerable people. A bunch of young footballers aren't really that. No, they've been tested every couple of days. So it's not like they're going to be a danger to society going out and shopping and stuff like that, because they're regularly getting tested. In fact, they're probably the safest people there are, because
probably. How
often do we get tested? I've never been tested. I've never needed to be tested, but we would need to have been in contact with somebody who's tested positive to even get a test and stuff like that. So they're tested all the time. So if they're negative all the time, there's no reason why they can't go on and meet people who are also negative. That's surely what the testing's about, isn't it? So I do think they need to be treated a little bit differently to us, because they are being treated differently anyway.
They are. What
they can do and what they say, they're getting tested all the time. So, but yeah, the rules are there, and they needed to stick to them, and they haven't. And maybe something needs to happen, but I don't know.
But it's
difficult.
I'm just saying, it could come across selfish, but from a fan's point of view, we've got nothing else going on at the moment, especially if what happens tonight is what we're expecting to happen. We need something to take our minds off it, even if it's 90 minutes away, but it takes our minds off what's going on. Yeah. And is that sort of switch off from everything that's going on. And sometimes
it is. And it's important as well. I mean, that they're taking everything away from us, everything that all of us enjoy doing, whether it's going to football, whether it's going to the pub, whatever it is, they've taken everything away. The only thing that we've got left is football. And if they take that away now, then that's going to make it 10 times more difficult for everybody, because I do think it is an outlet for people, and I think it has been an outlet. And I don't think they will. I don't think they will cancel all football indefinitely. I think maybe that they might have a couple of weeks, maybe stopping it. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be like last time.
Well, I watch my team, Slough Town, who I do go and see quite often. They've only played like 9 matches this season. And some of the teams in their league have played 16, 17 matches. I don't know how they're ever going to sort of catch up. I think, yeah, exactly. It's never going to happen. So from my perspective, I think it's just below the conference level anyway. They should just shut all that down, because some of those teams are never going to play those matches.
No, I mean, to be honest with you, I think any level below what's considered elite football is going to struggle to finish this season, because they've had so many breaks. Teams haven't played a lot of games, and I can't see the season's finishing. And if they have a break now, because if they bring down international lockdown, all that football is going to be cancelled anyway, because it was in the last lockdown. So they're not going to get them seasons finished, are they? And I feel sorry for those clubs, actually, because they're going to lose a lot of money with the fans not coming in the stadium, with the matches not being played, and all that kind of stuff. And there's going to be a lot. This is going to have an effect on every part of society in the long term. Yeah. And unfortunately, lower league football is going to suffer probably as much as anything, because a lot of those clubs won't be able to survive all this now. It'll be two seasons in a row that hasn't been completed. And it's not right, and it's not. There's no answer to it, I guess, is there? Because they're not going to be allowed to play, and that's it. And it's going to have knock-on effects everywhere. And ultimately, when the lower levels of football are affected, it does eventually come through to the higher levels as well. And that's unfortunately what's going to happen. There's going to be no players to come through in the future, because there won't be any clubs left for them. You're just going to end up having 4 or 5 sort of professional leagues in England. That'll be it. The rest of them won't survive. There won't be many clubs left. There won't be.
No, you're right. Absolutely right, mate.
You have 2 seasons in a row that don't finish at that level of football. You just can't.
A lot of clubs will go out of business.
They've got no one going for the gates either.
Yeah, what's going with junior football as well? I mean, at the moment, junior football's been allowed to carry on, but no doubt if there's a lockdown, it won't be able to be like before. There'll be another season of junior football that'll be written off as well, and it's going to be a lot of. I mean, I work in junior football, and a lot of the kids who are like 14, 15-year-old who haven't really played properly for 2 years have given up. They find something else to do, and that's going to happen a lot more. And when football starts up again, they're not going to have the players to play, because they've lost interest in it. And that's the sort of age where they need to be playing, don't they? Because they do other things come along, and you think, actually, I can't be getting up on a Sunday morning to play football.
Yeah, play with PS5 or whatever.
Do something else that they've been doing for the last 6 months when it's been off. And I think these problems are going to they're a problem now, but they're going to be escalated even more.
Escalated even more. 10 times.
It's going to have a knock-on effect. It will. It's going to have a knock-on effect, and not only in football, in life, in business, and everything. And we are never going to really well, I'm not saying never. It's going to take a long, long time for us, for the country and everybody to recover from all these businesses.
Get back to some sort of normality.
Yeah, it's going to take years. People think, with the vaccine, we'll all be fine in the summer. Well, no, we won't, because we're going to be paying for all this for years, decades. Everybody's going to be affected, and I don't think people understand that. People seem to think, it's going to be over this year. No, it won't.
And also,
it's going to really start to hit home. Exactly, all the problems are going to start to catch up from last year.
And also, both these vaccines that have been approved here in the UK, they're now saying because obviously once you've had both, whatever one you have, you've got to have one jab and then 12 weeks get another one. They're saying there's no guarantee that you still can't have it and then pass it on without knowing. You won't, as in you have it. You might have it in your system, but you won't have the effects of what it would normally give you. But you can still pass it on. There's no way of telling that's the case, if it stops that or not. So that's another thing they've got to get used to and be sort of wary of. Things are going to change massively no matter what, and it's adapting in the day.
What was key for me about it all? That's the press conference that they had on, was it just before New Year, wasn't it? When they all this new stuff.
Monday before, yeah.
And I was talking about the vaccine, and basically what they said was they don't even know if the vaccine is going to stop people getting it or passing it on. So basically, everyone can be vaccinated, but still people can pass it on and give it to other people. I mean, that the vulnerable people aren't going to get a serious illness. That's probably at the moment. That's probably the best they're hoping for from the vaccine. That it's going to lead to serious illness from the vulnerable people, which should mean less people having to go to hospital and hopefully less people dying.
The numbers down and all.
But for everybody else, it's not going to make any difference. How can they lift the restrictions? Because what will happen is, if they lift all the restrictions, everyone's been vaccinated now, we'll lift all the restrictions, but people can still catch it, people can still pass it on, and eventually it might go to these old vulnerable people who are still going to get ill and might need to go in hospital. So it's like, unless you can stop that, how are they going to be able to? I mean, I personally think the restrictions aren't working. It's obvious they're not working because
of the outbreaks everywhere. Yeah,
working, but it's a matter of convincing the general public at large that they can stop all this. About people feeling confident to go out. I mean, you think of football, right? Can you imagine? Can you now? I can't actually imagine how we're ever going to get to a point where you're going to have 60,000 people in the Emirates in the way it used to be.
Wow,
I can't imagine. Because even if they open the stadium up and said, let's get all the fans back in, you're going to get half the people won't go. Because they'll be too scared. I'm not going. It's too dangerous. Well, it's not dangerous. It's not more dangerous than it was last year or year before. You know what I mean? Exactly the same amount of danger. But people won't go. And I think that's going to be the problem with everything. They're going to open everything up or start to open everything up, and businesses will not recover because people won't go because they'll be too scared.
Yeah. I mean,
anyway,
go away from that. We've had that little segment. We're going to move back onto the Arsenal game, obviously. Before we get to play that, it's a comment here from Gary, who's going to be back on Saturday for the watch along. Says, since Arsenal have Martinelli, Emma Smith first, Saka excelling, is it much of an issue that the Willock, Nelson, and Ketia aren't at that level? How many teams have 3 players in their first 11 at their ages? Example, Foden for Man City. Apart from that, Chelsea have players, but they're not of that. Although they have that Gilmore, Charlie Gilmore? Okay, he's like one player.
I don't know how old he's young. He's quite young. I mean, Chelsea have got a few, to be fair. Man United have got Greenwood. That's about it, isn't it? Mason.
Yeah, it's like 1 or 2. Nothing like. No one has that excelling number past 3 players or anything like that.
No, they don't.
I would send them out on loan anyway. I don't think.
Well, apparently
any of them are good enough, really. Well, I don't think their long-term futures at Arsenal. Put it that way.
Well, there's rumours going around today. Obviously, it's just rumours from the transfer because of when the was open that Willock and Nelson have been put forward towards Norwich as part of a player swap plus cash deal for Ben Wader.
Yeah, I heard that the other day about Willock. I wasn't sure about. One of them, yeah.
What I've seen today. This morning I woke up. Also, quick plug, different channel, different fan base, but Leicester Fan TV in the chat. If you haven't subscribed, go and subscribe to them now. Yeah. And if you're new to the channel, guys, do subscribe to this channel as well and smash that like button. He's saying the match preview for the Leicester versus Stoke FA Cup will be recorded and uploaded today and tomorrow on my iPad today and tomorrow on my phone. And yeah.
Yeah, the good guy, Leicester Fan TV. They're good guys.
Yeah, I think it's our channel. Yeah,
definitely get definitely subscribe to them and check them out because I know Leicester and stuff like that. But the fan channels are great. Some of them, they're not all like TV.
They're not. Yeah,
not like AFTV. No.
Watching. But yeah, Leicester Fans TV, they're great guys actually. So you definitely get involved.
Yeah, it's just got. It's like not everyone's like AFTV. You just got to scout them. It's like a scouting system. You got to see, dip your toes in, see what they're like, and then if you think they're good, commit. Because yeah, they are just because they're fan TV.
I've had a few fans from other clubs on my channel this season, and there's some great channels out there. There's some great guys out there from other clubs as well. So I think we need to get behind them all as well and support them as well. Brownie's got isn't he? Brownie, he's the man, isn't he?
Yeah, apparently he's got fingers to pulse. This is the money, and had the finger to pulse and said, "Oh, it was an all but done deal back in the summer." But yeah, okay.
Yeah, Brownie's tomato sauce.
But let's get into the player ratings now. Obviously, we'll start with goalkeeper. We're going to start obviously Leno. I'll let Richard take this one. What do you give him out of 10, considering the conditions and everything else?
Yeah. He didn't have a lot to do, but he made an important save when it was 0-0, when they had that breakaway and had an opportunity just before we scored. And yeah, the shot was straight at him, and you'd expect him to save. And I think he made one other save, didn't he, in the second half as well, when he made a decent save as well. So he didn't have a lot to do, but he did what he had to do. He did well. So I don't think you can give him any more or less than a 7 just because he didn't have enough to do to get more than that. But he did everything that he had to do well, so I think I'll give him 7 for Leno.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I think anything more than that, you'd have to be absolute on it, sort of. But yeah, he did make some, as you said, he did make some really good saves. I'm going to give Russ Hector. He was only on for what, 55, 60 minutes?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he got hauled off for about 55 minutes. I don't know whether he was injured or whatnot. I have really no idea why he came off. But I think I'll give him a 7, mate. To be honest, I think he flashed an early shot towards goal, didn't he? But he was much better. He's, as I say, I think we touched on it earlier. The past couple of games, he's really upped his level, and I think he's actually done really well going forwards as well. I think he linked up pretty well with Saka on the flank as well, which we haven't seen. He doesn't really sort of, what's the word? He doesn't really connect with the winger, does he? Generally, but in the past couple of games he has done. But yeah, I'll give him a 7. It wasn't a bad display from him, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't disagree. He did nothing wrong. I think it's more down to the conditions of. The pitch was getting more and more like fucking ice, and if he was on a booking, Arteta don't want to risk getting an entry or him being sent off, or both. I'm going to take Pablo Mari. I think again, his 3rd game in a row now he's played for us in the league, and you know what? Like I said, because obviously Chelsea game, everyone got a bit on his, but not completely, but a little bit of criticism could have been it. But I said that was more down for fatigue. He's only just come back. Give him a few games and get his fitness back to where it should be. If he stays injury free, we're seeing that the sort of player he can be. We give him a few games, we'll see a better player. We are game by game seeing a better player. And that fatigue that we saw against in that Chelsea penalty incident, we're not seeing that now. He ain't again. He's one of them players that are not blessed with pace as a defender, but he reads the game well. He knows when to commit forward or when to stay back and things like that. I'm sorry again. For what 5-6 million we paid for him, at this moment in time, it does seem like we've got an absolute bargain there, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's nice to get Gabriel a little bit of competition because, as you say, Mari, even though it was sort of a quiet evening for him, he was bringing the ball out well, out of defence and sort of pinging it around a bit. Yeah, I think he had a good game, mate. To be honest.
Oh yeah, I'll give him I'll have to give him a 7 as well. A solid 7 because he did have it wrong. Yeah, it's just what it is. Especially you consider the conditions. Especially again, keep going back to the second half when the snow was really thick and it went to ice at one point. It did look like he was. Whenever he had the ball, he didn't look like oh god, it's snow. I don't. He just calm, collective, and got rid of it.
Yeah.
Rob Holding, who would I give to Richard?
I mean, Rob Holding actually, he's a funny player actually because he's probably got a mistake in him, but when he's on his game and he concentrates, and you can see he's a decent defender and he's a good old fashioned centre half in a way, isn't he? Maybe that we haven't had, and I think actually He's played previously with David Luiz. He's played with Gabriel, and he actually looks a lot more comfortable playing with Pablo Mari. They've actually built up a really good understanding in the last few games that they've played together, which to me is a massive positive. I mean, Rob Holding, again, against West Brom, didn't do anything wrong. He wasn't put under massive amount of pressure because West Brom, once we got the goals in the first half, they didn't really offer a lot attacking. Well, they didn't really offer a lot attacking-wise anyway. So he wasn't put under massive pressure, and he's going to obviously have a lot more firmer test than that. But again, a bit like Leno and the other defenders, really, he didn't do anything wrong. He did everything that he had to do well. But it's difficult to give him perhaps more than a 7 just because he wasn't tested, really. He just did everything in a good way. And I do think that partnership actually looks good. I'm not sure it's going to be the first choice partnership. I still think that when everybody's fit, I think Gabriel will be back in and possibly David Luiz as well. But it's certainly, they're good players to have there. And I personally would stick with them because I think they're doing well. But I just don't know if they will. But yeah, Rob Holding, again, solid performance from him. I say it seemed like it was good conditions for him. I think he kind of would have been relishing that kind of game, and he did well, a clean sheet as well. So all the defenders did well, but they weren't really tested enough because I thought West Brom were the poorest team going forward that we've played actually all season, if I'm honest.
Yeah, they were terrible. Them and Brighton didn't play with any police.
Brighton didn't offer much either, actually, no. But yeah, so they wasn't tested. So again, probably 7 for Rob Holding just for that reason, I suppose. He did well. But you can't give him more than that because he didn't have a lot to do defensively, did he? He wasn't good enough. So, but yeah, I'd say 7.
I'd say 7 as well. And Russ, you've got Kieran Tierney. I think it's a nice, easy one for you.
I'll give him a 9 out of 10, mate. Because he was don't get me wrong, it was a thunderbastard of a goal he scored. It was a really great build-up play as well, and it was on his weaker foot as well. It just went crashing into the top corner. So, I mean, that's definitely, if it's not goal of the month, it's got to be one of them, I think. He never relented from his duties. I think he played really well. He was, and then getting up forward, wasn't he? He supplied the 4th goal with a great cross, didn't he? So, yeah, definitely 9 out of 10 for me. He was the captain in the making, I think. Captain's performance.
Yeah, definitely. I can't disagree there at all. Literally, fuck it. For a play, as Richard said, he deserves man of the match just to turn up in t-shirt and shorts.
I went out for a run earlier on today. I had a snood on, I had a hat, I had gloves on.
He's just like, what are you doing? This is summertime.
You had your electric vest on, didn't you? The one you have to plug in and warm yourself up.
Definitely. So yeah, I mean, I was giving credit for that really because that's deserves man of the match just for that. Yeah, without a doubt.
I'm going to take. I'm going to take Danny Ceballos. Played most of the match, but 87 minutes went off. Got a booking. Wasn't really sort of conditions. That's more down to conditions. I don't think it's a foul anyway. The one he got booked for.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I've watched that 3 or 4 times, and I was thinking, I don't know how he's got a booking for that. No,
it's just again. I think I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7. It's a really solid 7 because again, I had my doubts about him and Granit working alongside each other. But you know what? Especially in the conditions it was as well. I keep going back to it because they were non-normal conditions for them sort of players that they're used to. And you know what? He did all the things you expected him well. He didn't do anything overzealous. He didn't try and do anything he shouldn't be doing. He weren't giving the ball away all the time. He was getting stuck in, doing what you would expect of a Danny Ceballos or a player of his ilk to be doing in the first place. Richard, that means you've got the task of Granit Xhaka.
I mean, to be fair, I think that since his sending off and he's come back into the team, he's played well. I mean, yes, the team's played well and he's benefited from that. I think he's benefited from some of the young players around him who can do the running for him, if you like, and get around the pitch a bit better than he can. But again, against West Brom, I thought, I didn't think that we were fantastic in midfield. I thought Ceballos was okay, and I thought Granit Xhaka was okay, but I don't think either were outstanding. And I still think that having Thomas Partey coming back in to that area is going to be a massive lift for the team and going to give us a little bit more. But I mean, credit where it's due. I think Xhaka played okay last 3 or 4 games. Actually, he's done well. Again, you probably wouldn't want to really think he was more than a 7, but I don't think he was less than a 7. just because again, he was neat and tidy with the ball. He didn't make too many mistakes. He didn't give away silly free kicks like he has done in the past. So I thought he had a decent enough game. Yes, again, it was an easy game in a sense, because easy in terms of the opposition, not the conditions were difficult, but he did everything that we could have expected him to do. So yeah, I would say maybe 7 for Xhaka as well, just because he was steady. And I thought he moved the ball quite well. His passing was all right. He was always looking to try and get Tierney in the game as well on the left. So yeah, probably 7 for him.
Yeah, to be fair, Ceballos and Xhaka really didn't have. West Brom didn't offer very much to sort of, you know, so they didn't really have to be spectacular. They were just doing their jobs.
Steady. Yeah. I thought Ceballos was probably the better of the two slightly, just because I thought the pass was maybe a bit better. But
Ceballos was putting in the tackles as well. So
but also, it's like Richard said, since he's come back from that suspension, we got that red card. Since Boxing Day, or Boxing Day, the first game back, his performances have been solid. He isn't making them same mistakes he was before. Again, it's only a few games, this, that, and the other. It might die off at some point, but for now, we have to praise him for doing what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, every player has good games and bad games, and good run of form and a poor run of form. Xhaka had a poor run of form earlier in the season, along with a few others, and now he's come back from his suspension. He's playing okay, so I think we need to give him credit for that. Yes, he's going to have harder games than he did on Saturday coming up. You know, there's a few teams that we got on the horizon who, you know, it's a lot stronger in midfield. But let's hope Thomas Partey's back, and maybe with Thomas Partey alongside him, that might work as well. So we'll see. I mean, you can only give a player on what they're doing at each game, because each game is a separate game. And I thought he's been doing okay, and we need to give him credit for that, really.
Yeah, exactly. Russ, I'm going to give you Emil Smith-Rowe.
Yes, I think I'm going to give him an 8. I just love watching him play. I think his link-up play is great for a young guy like that, to be able to sort of link the play up between the midfield and the strikers. I haven't seen anything like it probably since Cesc, if I'm being honest. He made a beautiful run to the West Brom defence, carved them open for the second goal, and then, as I say, he just rolled it through to Xhaka to score. Very unselfless. I'll give him an 8 for it, mate. Yeah, very good, and I'm really excited for him. I think he's going to be a big player for us in the future.
I think we all know there's one person that's more excited for Smith-Rowe than anyone else in the fan base, and we all know that. Andrew from Dogs, for we yonks, even on Richard's channel, been saying he needs to fucking play. Why are we playing? He can do that.
He has had a lot of injury issues, to be fair, Smith-Rowe. So you can sort of see why that they've been a bit hesitant to sort of throw him in there. But he's great, isn't he?
And I think I've been a little bit not unsure of him. I mean, we've seen him play in the Europa League. He looks like he had potential, but I didn't want to bring him up. He hadn't really played that much in the Premier League, and it was unsure. You know, is he going to be able to cut it in the Premier League? Because some of these young players look really good in the Europa League and stuff, and never quite make it. We've got a few in the squad already. So I wanted to be a little bit reserved on him, but he's come in, he stepped up when we needed him, and he's been brilliant. He was brilliant again against West Brom. He's one of the players that's made the difference. He's almost helped to save or given Arteta more time in his job.
Absolutely right, mate. Yeah.
And he's shown that, you know, we do need a number 10, and we've got one who can do the job there. Unfortunately, we haven't got anybody else. So if he's injured or whatever, then we're going to struggle again in that position. But that just shows what an impact that he's made, and hopefully he can go on. He looks like he's got something about him, doesn't he? He's got something different about him that no one else in our squad has got. And I mean, that for that second goal was just brilliant. The little 1-2 he done, the movement he made, and you know, a lot of players in that position would have tried a shot possibly, because a shot was probably on, but he was aware, he knew where the and he rolled the ball across. It was just brilliant awareness by him, and he's been doing that. He did the same in the game against Brighton. Some lovely little touches, some lovely movement. He's just a special player, actually. And I can see why Andrew's been raving on about him for such a long time. You know, he hasn't played really that much.
Anyway.
And saying how great he was, and he's proved right, because he is that player. He is the player that Andrew always said he was. We should have Arteta should have realised that a little bit earlier, maybe. I know he's been injured perhaps as well. Yeah, fantastic. I'd say, I wouldn't disagree with an 8. I thought he was outstanding.
He should be, if anything, Arteta should be listening to Andrew on his channel from Dark Square 12. Just tune in every Wednesday. There you go. That'll help you in abundance. It's like Joel says in the chat, big up Joel, who again will be back again on Saturday for watch along. He's trying to get by the way, he's trying to get Melvin trending with the full Melvin. Oh dear. But he says every time Ilman Smith-Rowe gets the ball, you think he's going to do something special. He brings that buzz to the team, and he does. And it's like that. I think Arsenal. I think it was them put the clip out, which I quote retweeted and said that run after the ball run, because he for someone who's so young to have that sort of mindset of right, I haven't got the ball, but I'm going to be progressive now. Stretch, not just stretch the defence, but make gaps to help out my teammates and this. If the ball comes to me, If it doesn't, it doesn't. But he's also got that selfishness, that unselfishness of him. Whereas he said he could have had a shot. Yeah, he might have gone, he might not have. But he saw someone. He saw Saka at the corner of his eye clearly in a better position. So he went, okay, there you go. Have that pass across the face of goal. He needs to tap in an even easier goal. Came about because of it. It's the intelligence of a young man like him. It's again, I'm so happy. I'm happy that he's getting a play now. Hopefully, touch wood, he stays injury free for a long time now, because we've been screaming out for a player like him for so long that does them sort of things. And the fact it's come through our own means from our club, from the youth, the academy itself. It means so much more as a fan for me. And the long may it continue. What's Brandy saying in the chat? He's saying also, just going off before we go to the last few players, would you have West Ham Souček to work alongside Partey with Smith-Rowe as cam?
Souček's good.
He is good. I've got my heart set on Basuma from Brighton playing alongside Thomas Partey. I just think those two, with the energy that they've got, would be great. With Smith-Rowe just in front of them two, that'd be brilliant. That
because you didn't get your Decore, isn't it, Richard?
Exactly. I've changed my allegiance now to Basuma. He was brilliant against us, actually. I thought that Basuma when we played him. But yeah, Souček's a good player. He's got aerial powers, hasn't he? He scores a lot of headers and stuff like that.
Yeah, so he's good. Yeah. He's really good.
Yeah, I mean, he would be a good option. I'm not sure we'd be able to get him though, but anyway. We'll see.
But yeah, I'm going to take up Saka then in that case, and again, I've got to give him an 8. You know, it's just someone that's also like Tierney being for that whole season really, really good, and he's only getting the appraisal now because obviously the team's winning this, that, and the other. But it's like you said, Richard, earlier. He's not afraid to get stuck in and cause problems on that right hand side and run at the defence and things like that. It's just so refreshing to see. And it's again, someone that coming from our academy, someone that cares and has that no fear at the moment of playing for the club, but also wants to give his all. And we're seeing the benefits of it. He scored against Chelsea. He got the assist for the Brighton game as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah,
he's got 2 goals, 2 assists, 2 goals in 3 games. You can't ask for much more from a young player of that ilk as well. And he's playing that position. Technically, he prefers to be played on the. Apparently, he likes to be played on the left. He likes to play on the left hand side. He's playing that, but he's playing on the right. He's not complaining either. He's getting on with it, and we're seeing great performances from him. And I can't fault him. He's making runs off the ball as well.
I mean,
I
think an 8's actually a little bit conservative. I would probably give Saka a 9. He was brilliant. You know, he scored a goal, influential in a lot of good. To me, he's the natural choice now for the right hand side. I know it's not his necessarily preferred place, but he's brilliant now. That cross he put in for the third goal when he crossed it with his right foot. When past the defender crossed it with his right foot, brilliant for his technically his weaker foot. What a cross that led to a goal. And you know, he did the same against Brighton. Got clear down the right hand side, crossed it with his right foot to Lacazette to score. He scored with his right foot as well, didn't he, against Chelsea with that cross that went in that he said was a shot, but that was his right foot as well.
Was a shot. Don't get me started. It was a shot.
But yeah, so you know what I mean. He can, you know, is his right foot that much weaker than his left? It doesn't appear to be because he's done so. You know, he's creating goals, scoring goals now. And to me, that's what the play there. And I thought he was brilliant against West Brom again. I just love the kid. I think he's got his feet on the ground. He's got the right attitude. he's probably the best player I think that we've produced through our academy system for a long time. Probably since the heyday in the sort of 80s when we had a lot of great players come through. Since then, I think he's probably one of the best ones. Just because his attitude, he's going to be an absolute star.
Yeah.
He's going to be a regular for England, or at least he should be a regular for England because of his versatility as well. And he's just quality. Absolute quality. And yes, he has a few ineffective games sometimes. Of course, he's a young player, but look at the man. He's almost first name on the team sheet now, isn't he? 19-year-old. Just brilliant.
And these last 3 games over this Christmas period, Boxing Day, or was it 28th or whatever it was, and then the second on Saturday, 2 of them games, he's got man of the match performances given to him.
Yeah. And
he could have. Yeah.
He was in the run against West Brom as well. I just thought, he's a great moment. He's benefiting from Emil Smith-Rowe as well, and benefiting from the fact that we're now playing a slightly different system. He's playing on the right, which I do think suits him. I know he might not necessarily have thought that before, but it does suit him, and he's been brilliant there, absolutely brilliant. And I can't praise the guy enough. He's probably now my favourite Arsenal player. I just love his attitude. I just love the way how down to earth he is when he speaks after the game, his interviews. You know he's got the right mentality to go on and have a fantastic career. Some of these young players. You hear them in interviews afterwards, and you just know that they're not going to be dedicated enough to really get the maximum out of their career. But he is, and he is going to be an absolute star. And I'm so proud that he's come for our academy and that he's doing it in the Premier League. He is my favourite player, and and I just think he deserves all the credit.
And I don't know, you might correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't he the first player to come from after Rocky Rocastle came through and got the number 7? Every other number 7 hasn't come since before now.
No,
has never come from the academy. They've always been brought in.
Yeah,
Bobby Perez and things like that. Nelson Vivas. He got number 7. Jesus Christ.
The
first player. That's like over 35, 40 plus years.
Yeah, he's probably one of the best players we've produced in our academy since probably Rocky Rocastle, Mercer, and all them like that came through. I just think he's brilliant. He's a different level above every other teenager currently English teenager playing in the Premier League. He's above them all, and he might be.
We haven't decided that yet.
I'll think about it.
We'll come back to you on WhatsApp.
Again to have that pressure put on you. Obviously, the last person to come through the youth academy at Arsenal to have the number 7 shirt was someone that's so embedded into the Arsenal, not just the club, but in the fan base, still loved, and this, that, and the other. To have that pressure, and he's not affected. Obviously, so far, Touchwood, he's not affecting him. He's embracing the number because obviously he was 77 last season, and this, that, and the other. I think he chose number 7 himself and things like that. He's like, but to have that pressure, knowing of it's just again, so that the sort of player, the sort of mentality he has, it can only get better. To think of it, looking back to Saturday, I think he pretty much was involved in every goal, one way or the other in the attacks. He had a say in basically, yeah. So maybe I'll upgrade it to a 9. I'll get upgrade to a 9, as you said. Yeah.
Peer pressure.
No, but you know what? Looking at it, because I was just looking at the performance. Yeah. This just means I've got to choose who gets the less of the 2 evils.
I've already sung Lacazette's praises already, so.
That's the ego. Richard, you got Lacazette. You have Lacazette then.
Yeah, I mean, Lacazette, I said before, I thought it was a great perfect all-round performance really for a centre forward. It's everything that you want your centre forwards to do. Scoring goals as well, which just added to it. And yeah, I thought he was brilliant, Lacazette. I mean, I don't think you'd almost be tempted to give him a 10 because I can't think of anything he did wrong. But if you give someone a 10, then it means they can't improve. And I always think there's room for improvement. So,
hat trick, no, 9.
And as well, just because I don't like giving 10s because I think 10 is too much because no one's perfect either. If you analyse his performance, I'm sure Lacazette did 1 or 2 things he could have done better. So I'm going to give him a 9. But yeah, I think that is probably his best individual performance for Arsenal. I think in the whole time he's been at the club, he did everything
for a long time.
that you would want a centre forward to do. And the fact he also scored, the goals were a little bit scrappy maybe, but then you've got to be in them positions, haven't you? And he hasn't been getting into those positions enough. And he did against Brighton when he came on as well. And I think his confidence now is high. Let's hope he can keep that up, because when he's a confident player, you can see the difference it makes in what he does, not only in front of goal, but his whole contribution to the team as well is lifted. And it's something that his mate needs to maybe buzz off him a little bit now. Some of that from it, because obviously I will watch him in a minute, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to give Lacazette a 9. I say for me, he probably would have been man of the match, apart from the fact that Kieran Tierney probably just about shaded it for his goal and his assist and everything else. So, but yeah, Lacazette was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and can't really say any more than that.
Yeah, and that means I think we're going to, obviously, I think he's the next person to get the lowest scoring. He's our club captain. Over to you, Russ. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
7 for me, mate.
That's being generous.
That's being generous, yeah. I mean, he's drifted in field, he's creating chances and space down the left for Tierney to exploit. I just think he's snatching at chances. I mean, he should have scored. He should have scored in that game. It was the one Willian. I don't know whether that was a cross or a shot. I don't know. It went deflected into Aubameyang's path, didn't it? And if about 6-7 yards out, he's just rugby goal, wasn't it? He's just so low on confidence. He's trying too hard to try and rectify it. I don't know. I'm getting worried about him, chaps. I really am. I know strikers need goals and then their confidence comes flooding back, but he just doesn't look the player that we from last season, does he? He doesn't look it at all, and I'm just getting really concerned. But apart from that, he really didn't do much wrong for me. A 7, basically.
I mean, he could really have scored 2 or 3 goals, because he had that opportunity when he ran through, and he a bit similar to the goal he scored against Chelsea in the cup final. Went around the outside, but he just had no confidence in his finish. He just put his foot through it and hit it straight at the keeper, didn't he? Whereas
he ran the whole pitch, didn't he? For one of them, didn't he?
Confident Aubameyang puts that in the corner. That one when Saka drilled it across the goal, he was a little bit slow reacting, got there too late, and he missed it. And then, like you said, that one, the Willian shot, again, a confident Aubameyang reads that better, gets his body shape better, and puts it in. So he could have had a hat-trick, actually. And if he was in form, he might well have done. And yes, I don't think his performance was probably not as bad as it seems. I just think out of all of our players on the pitch, he probably had the least amount of impact, because he should have done more than what he did. He should have scored one of them chances, shouldn't he? And then if he scores,
I gave him a 7, because that's just average for me.
Yeah, no, that's probably fair, actually, because if he scores one of them goals, you think, well, that's not a bad performance. Then he did a couple of good things with the ball. You know, he was it the third, was it the 4th goal, wasn't it, when he broke forward, played it out to Tierney. So he played a part in that goal. So he wasn't a terrible performance. He just maybe his inadequacies or his lack of confidence is standing out a lot more at the moment, because everybody else is really playing well.
As I said, he doesn't snatch at chances like that, does he? And then former Aubameyang just smashes it in the back of the net, didn't he?
The same against Brighton, wasn't it? He had a couple of chances against Brighton that you'd expect him normally to have put away at least one of them as well. So, you know, he should have scored a lot more goals than he has done. And it is something that, I mean, confidence tends to come when you score a goal, maybe. Maybe he needs one to go in and then it might come back. But, you know, I think maybe we're criticising him a little bit more, only because maybe we expect a bit more. His standards are higher than that, without a shadow of a doubt they are. And also as well, maybe because everybody else has stepped up their game in the last few weeks, last few games, and he maybe hasn't. His confidence is still down on the floor, and he's not lifting himself or the team as captain. And I think maybe he's getting a bit more criticism of that. But yeah, I think a 7 is probably fair actually overall, because he didn't have a bad game. He just didn't contribute as much as we expected him to, and he did have some big chances to score, didn't he? And luckily, it didn't matter in the end. You win 4-0, and maybe you can get away with not scoring. But in other games, he needs to put them in, doesn't he? Because otherwise we drop points, which happened earlier in the season. So it is an issue. I agree. It is a little bit of a worry, because this has gone on. A player can have a bad run of form, 5 or 6 games. You think, but this has gone on for a long time now. He's probably had 10, 11, 12 games when he's lost.
It's his Giroud levels of drought.
Yeah, oh God.
It is. And it's worrying. It is worrying, but we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe one goal, but then he scored against Southampton. It looked like he was confident with that chance when he took it. Then I know he got injured. He didn't play, which maybe didn't help. Maybe he needed a couple of games after that to to build on that. And he was out injured for a couple of games, and he's come back in and he's lost his momentum maybe. So maybe he does need a goal, and then he's a run of 3 or 4 games when hopefully he can get a few more, and then he'll be back up again. But I'm not sure if all's well with him, if I'm honest. Behind the scenes, he doesn't look the same player. He doesn't seem happy, and you can even see when we scored the goals, he wasn't celebrating in a way maybe that he did before. And I don't think something's right. I don't think it's right. Something's not right with him at the minute, whatever it is. And that's a bit of a concern. But it's something that Arteta needs to look at, either sort out and get him to play better, or give him a rest out of the team and stick Martinelli in that position. Because Martinelli done well, hasn't he, the games he's played since he came back. So it is a problem that we've got that needs to be sorted out, because I think he is still an important player for us, Aubameyang. And on his day, he's a dangerous player and he'll score goals. He won us the FA Cup, didn't he?
I agree. Lads, I've got to go because I've got to go and pick my little boy up from school. So
yeah. So the school was still open. You won't be at school tomorrow.
We're not going down that tangent again. But anyway, lads, it's been a pleasure. But I'll catch up with you both soon. Okay. So chat. Take care, guys. See you later.
See you later. Yeah, bye. And then there was 2 of us. I'm going to ask. We've got a couple more. The 3 subs and Michael himself to get through. So we'll start with Ainsley. I didn't do anything wrong with you. Okay, I think now.
I was quite surprised actually when Bellerin went off at the point that he did. That game, and it was like, why is Bellerin injured? And it was good to see Maitland-Niles get a bit more of a run out actually, because he's not played that much football, has he really?
No, he didn't do nothing wrong either. He literally put a performance in as well himself.
Yeah, he did all right. He did fine. Yeah, I mean, again, he wasn't put under much pressure defensively, but he did okay, didn't he?
Yeah,
it was good to see him.
Especially when you consider halfway through that match, the second half, the pitch did look like the majority of it was pretty much fucking ice.
Yeah.
Again, there's no injuries there either. So, again, 7.
Yeah.
I think you can't really any less than that. Any more is too much, I think.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
And we've got the last. I think I'll give you. I'm trying to think. I'll give you Willian, your favourite player.
I was shocked that he brought Willian on instead of Pepe, as I said before. I'm not sure why that was the case, but I mean, Willian was quite poor. He gave the ball away a lot, didn't he? He didn't do anything really. He had a couple of good opportunities to maybe whip across, and he didn't. Some of his passing was poor. It wasn't great from him at all. I was surprised to see him coming on when he did, but I don't think I could give him more than a 5 or a 6, maybe 6. He didn't really do anything, did he? That stood out other than giving the ball away a couple of times. I noticed him doing. Other than that, he didn't contribute anything positive, did he? No. So maybe a 6 then. Maybe a 6.
Yeah, kept passing the ball back as well. Ironically, I can go forward. No, actually, I'll pass it back to you over there. It's just like you're meant to be an attacking-minded player here. Especially we go back to it. That's the Smith first, Saka, Martinelli when they're playing, doing what he should be doing anyway. He's effectively doing what you would expect them to do and panic and go pass back, and vice versa. They're going, well, instead of pass back, I'm going to go forward. Actually, attack. It's just so weird. But you know what? From the youth side, I'm not complaining because they're actually doing really good, and I'm happy for them. But Willian, I'm expecting. Because of the experience he has, I expect more of him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If he's come for a 3 or whatever, I expect more. And 6. I can't argue that. Anything more would mean that I'll be questioning if you're okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, just because he just didn't. I know it's difficult coming on in a game when it's that cold as well. I would have thought. So I want to try and take that into account as well. But he didn't really do a lot, did he? So no. He certainly didn't contribute to the victory, did he?
No. And Joel saying as well, Pepe looked cold in the summer. I don't think he would have coped in the snow.
Maybe he didn't want to come on. Maybe he said, no, I don't fancy this at all, perhaps. No. Yeah, that was why.
I don't like this. It's ice out there. I'm not going on ice.
Yeah. on ice when it's not icy. So God knows what it would look like. Was icy, but anyway.
It's just. I think Lee Dixon confirmed it on the Sunday, because people put that tweet. So I thought all Premier League clubs had to have Premier League and certain Championship clubs had to have underground heating. This and the other. He said they do. So where's the question of who turned it off? I wonder who. Big Sam and his little tactics.
Well, yeah, I'm not
backfired. Really sure. Obviously, it backfired. We won 4-0, so forgot the 3 points. It's all matters. Joe Willock, obviously, again, he came on for like the last 10 minutes himself. He got on for, wasn't it? Came on for Smith Rowe as well. So again, the game was already over by then. It was just a bit of a run out, really. Give him a 7. He did better than what we saw from Willian, but it wasn't like over the top. Like, for the last 10 minutes, he influenced the game a bit more. This, that, and the other. It was just, he just got the minutes out of the way, and he sort of, just did what he had to do, what he put on the pitch to do, and not mess up. And he didn't mess up.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, he did all right, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't get a chance to get into the game and have much influence at all, did he? He just did. He's probably brought on to do a certain job. To maybe tighter at the last few minutes. Obviously he didn't come on to replace Smith Rowe for his creativity or anything like that. He came on to do a job, which he probably did. Didn't he? He ran around a bit to keep warm and did his best, I suppose. But it's difficult to give him much of a score because he wasn't on long enough to really influence the game at all, was he? So I don't know. But again, maybe a 7 is probably fair because he didn't do anything wrong and he didn't have any influence on the play because he didn't have a chance to. So I suppose that's probably fair.
And the last fact I'm going to do is Mikel Arteta. I'll let you take that one away.
Yeah, I mean, Mikel Arteta, for me, he got the team selection pretty much spot on. It was the team I predicted, actually, in my preview video the day before. I just thought he would make those 2 changes. I thought Martinelli needed a rest because he's played a lot of games quickly after a long injury. Don't want to risk him. And I thought El Neni had looked a little bit off the pace as well. So I thought those 2 changes were right. So he got the team selection right. We won 4-0 away from home. I mean, it's never easy. I know West Brom aren't a great team, but it's never easy going away from home. When was the last time we won an away game 4-0? You know what I mean? It's been a long time. So I think Arteta needs a lot of credit for that. I do think some of the changes in the team over the last few games have been forced on him rather than changes he wanted to make himself, which is a little bit of a worry. But he made them and he stuck with them, and the team's performed well. So I don't think we can give him any criticism at all. I mean, that's almost a perfect away day, isn't it? 4-0 away win. We scored goals. We could have scored a few more. We looked dangerous. And I think this system works a lot better as well. The formation, the sort of 4-2-3-1, it works a lot better. He's now got the right players in the right positions to make it work even better. So he needs credit for that as well. I don't think we can give him any less than probably an 8 or a 9 even, because, the only thing maybe now, I'd say an 8 because he brought Willian on when I didn't see the need to bring Willian on.
No.
Saka maybe needed to come off, but then you've got Pepe, who's a natural replacement in that position. So why not bring Pepe on? Maybe it was a bit cold for Pepe, I don't know, but so maybe that was why. But to me, because he put Willian on when I didn't think that was the right substitution, maybe knock him down to an 8. But other than that, he got everything else pretty much spot on, didn't he? It was a perfect performance.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing was that you've already touched it. Well, not just mine. A few of the guys, our concerns were going into the West Brom game itself was obviously the news of Willian and Luiz being available. Were they going to go straight back into the team? Things like that. Yeah. He sort of proved us for once. Actually, did prove us wrong in some respect. He didn't put them. They weren't in the first 11. Only one of them came on wrongly. Also we both agree on. But you know what? It is what it is. And as long as he sticks to not starting them when there's a subs. I think with the end we won't mind because we were led to believe he was only going to be brought in for being a squad player and add a bit of experience to the squad itself, nothing more than being that. So that we can sort of get on board with and not being the first 11 all the time, especially when you're out of form. It just makes no sense, especially when there's players like Saka in that position playing a lot better. We're getting more. We're getting results out of it. So long as Mikel, for long as it continues, sticks with this starting 11 that he's been going with the Saka, Smith, Rose, and all that, and Lacazette, got Martinelli, and managing it properly, I can't complain. And it's if he suddenly out of nowhere for no reason reverts back to the old format, that's when I'm going to be concerned even more than what I was before this Boxing Day and all that. But yeah, until that happens.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. No, go on. You want to say something on?
No, I think that now he's seen. I think he's seen the benefits of these young players being in the team because of how well we've played. And whether or not he planned that himself or whether he was left with no option because of the other players that weren't available, we'll never really know. He may well say, I was going to make them changes anyway, but I'm not convinced because he's had weeks to do it, hasn't he? And he hasn't. So, but the good thing is he has stuck with it. He's seen it's worked and he's stuck with it. The key now is going to be what happens. How many poor performances is he going to allow, say, Smith Rowe before he drops him out of the team? Bearing in mind how many poor performances he allowed Willian and how many poor performances he allowed Pepe. This is going to be the key. Is he going to stick with these young players even when they might have the odd bad game here and there, which inevitably they will? Or will he be so quick to change it and get his favourites back in? That's what's going to be the key for me now to see. But at the end of the day, the changes were made, they've worked, and hopefully now he can see the right thing to do with the players in the future. Maybe some of them hadn't proved enough to him in training; they wasn't ready, but he's had to throw them in, and they've stepped up and done the job. And hopefully now he can see that that's the way forward. And even when they have an odd bad game, stick with them and keep them in the team as much as you can, because you can see the difference that they've made. Martinelli as well is going to be a massive player for the rest of the season. Actually, when he's fit again regularly, like when he's got his match fitness back. I mean, he's sort of fit to play, but he's not got his match fitness yet. When he's got his match fitness, he's going to be a hell of a player for us, isn't he? You can imagine that those three: Martinelli, Smith Rowe, and Saka. Those three just behind the striker. That's three players there with energy, with
enthusiasm.
Everything that we need, everything that we've been lacking, and those three have got it in abundance. And you could see the difference that's made. And Martinelli, I'm sure he'll come back in the FA Cup game, and hopefully in a few Premier League games as well, because he needs a few more minutes, I think, just to get back to again.
Full fitness, yeah.
You can see he's quite. He ran himself into the ground in that Man City game before he got injured in that cup game. Literally, his first game back for months, he literally chased everything. He was after 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like he'd never been gone.
Just kept running and running, and that's what we needed, and it gave everyone a lift. And you can see the difference that he's made since then. Against Chelsea, he did the same until he ran out of steam. And that's what we've needed. And he's going to come back into the team. So Arteta's got to continue to be brave with these selections. He's got to keep his faith in these players, and then I'm sure that the second half of the season is going to be a lot better to watch than most of the first half of the season's been. Give or take the last couple of games. So but no, Arteta needs credit for this because he stuck with it. Conditions, but it was a good performance, and he got it right. So apart from that one substitution, he got everything right. So brilliant. And that's what we need him to keep doing now, going forward. Keep picking the right teams at the right time, making the right substitutions, and managing the squad a little bit better. Sometimes I think he's picked players for too many games sometimes when they've maybe needed a rest, and he hasn't rested them. And he needs to manage it. He needs to manage the squad. We haven't got the strength in depth that some other clubs have that we're competing with, so he needs to manage it a little bit better as well, and not burn players out too much. And hopefully then we can do we might sign a player or two in the next couple of weeks as well. It'd be nice. And then
hopeful. That's the hope anyway.
A lot better. I never wanted Arteta to be sacked. Even when we were losing games, I wanted him to be given a little bit more time. And these young players have come in and they've given him more time, and hopefully build on that as well. And he can learn a few lessons from things that he's got wrong, because he's still a young manager, isn't he? It's his inexperience, and sometimes that was maybe exposed a lot before. And hopefully now he's learned a few things, and he can help him to improve as well. And as a result of that, we'll improve as a team, and we can continue to push on. But I think the rest of this season is going to be the time, isn't it? If at the end of the season, then maybe we'll have to look at it again. But I want Arteta to succeed because I like him, and I think he's a good coach. I think he knows what he wants. He's just maybe struggled with the fact that the players we've got haven't always been good enough, and hopefully we can get some better players over the next couple of windows, and he can get more of the team that he wants, and then we might be able to produce these sort of performances more regularly. Let's hope so. Exactly. It's been good to watch, and that's been the main thing. It's been good to watch, and that's the difference for me. A lot of the games before, you just if you missed them, you wouldn't have been bothered, would you? Because they just
just get to that point.
Nothing to be excited about, but there has been a lot more to be excited about the last few games, which is good. Even the Brighton game, which was a tough game, I still enjoyed that game because it was a good performance overall. Great performance.
This is the thing we've always said. We don't expect to, as a fan base. We know we're not going to win every game, but we want the performances. If you put a performance in, but we lose, then the loss will hurt. But you know what?
Yeah, no, exactly.
You've left. At least we know you've left everything out on the pitch. There's nothing else more you could have done in that situation. So
exactly,
that's all we ever ask. There's not much to ask, really.
No.
I think it's that confusing because of obviously a certain other channel being big as it is and how they are. It's sort of that we sort of get that reputation as we expect to win every game. We don't expect to win every game. We expect our players to give us 100% in these games, no matter what.
No, exactly. And like you said, we're not good enough. We haven't got good enough players to expect us to win most of the games because we're not good enough to do that, and we have to accept that. We're not a bad side, but we're not a great team, and we're going to lose games. But as long as we're playing a system that's the best system that we've got for the players that we've got, as long as the players are giving everything that they can, then if you lose, you lose. That's the way it is. Everyone loses games, and that's fine. But, I think I'd say I got a lot of things wrong, but now hopefully I say he's learned from that, and we can see the improvement. We can keep that going. And hopefully he keeps a lot of these younger players involved. We're not going to start every game. I don't think Smith Rowe should be able to start every game because I don't think he'd just burn out too quickly. So he needs to manage it, but he needs to have him in the squad all the time. He needs to keep getting them on the pitch and giving them. Yeah, and I think if he does that, then I think we'll see the improvements will continue. But we'll see what happens when everybody's fit. That's going to be the key now, isn't it? When everybody's fit, everybody's available to play. What 11 is he going to pick? What does he consider to be his best 11 with everybody fit? We still don't really know because we've not been in that situation yet, have we?
No.
Be interesting. I'm quite interested to see what that will be when Thomas Partey's back fit, when obviously Gabriel's back, when David Luiz is back fit properly, when Willian's fit, when everybody's fit. Which is his strong? Does he consider to be his strongest 11? And then that's interesting. I'm quite interested to see what that will be. Because I don't know what he'll pick, actually.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's one last thing before we wrap things up. It's gone off. It's all not gone off, but in the chat, I don't know if you've seen. But Bjarne's asking about Ray Parler's squad number. He thinks he had number 7 at some point when he came through. I don't think he did. I think it was 10 or 11 he initially had before obviously being assigned number 15.
No, I think it was a higher number, wasn't it? Didn't it? Wasn't he 30 something or other when he first broke into the team?
Something like that, yeah.
Ray Parler's debut was in the last season before the Premier League started, and there wasn't squad numbers then.
No.
I'm not sure what number he had in the 1 to 11 in his first few games that he played.
I think it was 10 or 11, something like that.
Might have been 11 actually. Thinking about it, and then obviously the following season was the start of the Premier League, and they all had a squad number. And I'm sure he started off. Did he not start off with maybe a higher number, and then he got 15 after playing? He wasn't playing regular, was he, at the start? He was a squad.
He just came through the academy,
wasn't he? I'm pretty sure he had a higher number at first, and then it went. Obviously, he got 15 eventually, but I don't know what his 1 to 11 number was at the beginning when he first played. Because Brownie's right, there wasn't squad numbers when he first broke into the team. I can't remember what number he wore.
I swear it's 11. I think I've seen was after the League Cup final, he's got number 11 on his back. The League Cup final? Or something like that. One of these games. I think when he made his debut for Liverpool, he was playing like.
I can't remember what number he wore, because you never used to think about things like that so much then, did you?
No. But yeah, that definitely wasn't number 7. I know 100% it can't be number 7 because it would have stuck in my mind. But yeah, Richard, where can people find you? Because obviously, going to be seeing you again later.
I've got a show coming up tonight, actually, on just looking back on the year 2020. Kind of going to go through it chronologically, looking at the matches, the memories from each month, and whether we think it was a good month or a bad month, and bit up and down the whole year, wasn't it? So it's going to be quite a good show, actually. I've got Melvin's coming on as well, and Lee Judges as well. So that's going to be a good show tonight. That's at 7 o'clock. It's over and over and over again. Is the channel, so that'll be really good. So if you're around tonight, please nip over there at 7 o'clock and watch us on there, because that will be lots of good stuff to go through, lots of bad stuff. Well, it's been a mixed year, hasn't it? I suppose, but we did win a trophy, so we can obviously focus on a lot as well, which was great. And then I'll be doing some other stuff later on in the week, heading in towards the Newcastle game. Assuming it's on, of course, we'll find out later on tonight, won't we?
Yeah. You watch.
If the Newcastle game's on, then obviously I'll be doing stuff up for that as well later in the week and stuff, and putting a preview video together. So, loads going on the channel. So please nip over there and have a watch as well. That'll be much appreciated.
Yeah, and also on this channel, like Richard just said, because of there is a news conference at 8 o'clock tonight. So whilst we're live on your channel, maybe halfway through, we're going to find out live.
Find out live.
So, content-wise on this channel, we are on standby. There's stuff in place, but it's now on standby until we know different. And as soon as we know 8 o'clock tonight, I'll obviously make a community post here on the channel for you guys to all know that there's the weekly schedule ahead, and then we'll go from there. Obviously, the main one will be the Arsenal versus Newcastle, 5 o'clock, 4:45. We're going live for that. Either 4:45 or 5 o'clock. We're going live for that one. If it goes ahead, obviously, with a 5:30 kickoff with myself and the guys again. We've got to do a preview. If things are going ahead, preview on Friday. Friday. Preview for the Newcastle game on Friday. Trying to think now. I'm over on Andrew's channel on Wednesday, so go and check that out. Dial Square to Where, be over on his channel on Wednesday night. Tomorrow, got nothing planned. Tomorrow, I think you are. But Tuesday, tomorrow's gonna be my day off probably, just because I'm not doing a watch on for that lot down the road. Hell no. I'm trying to think. And Thursday, I'll probably try and find podcast in myself. But again, this is all down. It's all up in the air at the moment. It was all planned, but it's now all up in the air because we don't know what's going on until tonight. But once we know that, I'll let you guys know in the community post that full schedule in order, and we'll go from there. If you're new to the channel, if you liked what we've done today, go and check out Richard's channel. Go and subscribe to that. If you're new to the channel here as well, subscribe to this channel, smash the like button, share the content around. And until whenever next time may be, at the moment, we'll find out soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you later on over on Richard's channel, and then Andrew's channel on Wednesday. And as always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners.